Today, I want to share with you a Captain America story. If you're new to comic book story time, it's just where we take a comic book issue such as an origin story, a funny or weird issue, or just a random one-shot, and we retell the story and talk about it. The story I want to share today is from Captain America issue number 23, published in 1943. This is part of the Captain America's initial run. The story is called Captain America and the Mystery of the 100 Corpses. Probably should have done this one for Halloween, but grab your adult beverage and let's talk about a story from issue number 23 of the initial Captain America run. Our story opens on a blistering hot day with our two friends, Private Steve Rogers and Mascot Bucky Barnes, looking for a cool spot after suffering through their drills. Spotting a quarry pool up ahead, they strip off their clothing and race to jump in. You probably thought I was going to make some sort of pedo joke about adult Steve Rogers bathing naked with a Bucky Barnes who is definitely not his child. Well, you want to know what? This is a classy show. Get out of here with your dirty mind. Go on, get. In the water, Steve bets Bucky he can stay underwater longer than him. I wonder who is going to win, an adult male with more lung volume and a lower respiratory rate, or a small child? They dive under the water, but Bucky's head soon pops back out, face frightened and strained. "Look what I found!" Bucky cries. "A body!" Steve remarks, "Holy smoke, must be a suicide. This quarry has had quite a few." "So you're taking your child friend to swim in a suicide pool?" Bucky replies, "But Steve, it isn't just one body. There must be dozens of them down there. How is this kid not noping the fuck right out right now? Hey, I know there's dozens of corpses below us, but let's just keep swimming in this death pool. I'd be out of that frickin' water in a second." Also, does anybody have any idea how these bodies are staying at the bottom? I don't see anything attached to them. They're just laying perfectly on the water's bottom. Are they filled with rocks? No time for science! Suddenly a harsh voice sounds croakingly above them, like a pronouncement of doom. One of the writers just took a Shakespeare class. "I put them there, and you two snoopers are going to join them." Did he really think no one was going to notice dozens of corpses at what appears to be a very shallow body of water? Especially a shallow body of water that apparently quite a few people know about, at least to commit suicide there. A man wearing a onesie that says Eisen and a cape appears sitting on a tree branch and yells, "Say your prayers, ha ha!" and opens fire. While being shot at, Bucky manages to admire his onesie. "Steve, look! Eisen! Backwards it spells Nazi!" Yes, he named himself Eisen because backwards it spells Nazi. Steve and Bucky, after Bucky solves a crossword puzzle, dives under the water and Eisen waits for them to surface. Unknown to Eisen, Steve and Bucky come up near the shore, and then from behind some bushes, something in red, white, and blue appears. What is wrong with Captain America's body and face? That is just frightening. And where was he keeping his shield? No, really, read the original run of Captain America. He'll be out somewhere in his civilian clothes and need to change into Captain America all of a sudden, and he'll just appear with his shield. We have no idea where it comes from. He's just walking around in his clothes, and then all of a sudden, he just has this freaking huge shield. I can buy he's wearing his Captain American uniform under his civilian clothes. I got that. Where does his shield come from? Where does he keep it when he's not using it? And do we actually want to know the answer to that question? Captain America charges, but Eisen calls for help. "We do it!" one of the stupid German henchmen responds. Hi, I just want to take a moment and apologize to my German viewers. You see, there used to be a dark, unenlightened time in America where stereotyping and generalizations used to be commonplace. We do not view you as idiotic, bumbling fools. This comic in no way represents our opinions of you or damages the friendship we've built with you over the decades. Jokes such as what do you call a blind German, a Nazi, and how does a German tie his shoes with little Nazis just simply aren't funny jokes anymore and takes away from the wonderful things you've contributed to this world. Keep being you, Germany. Keep being you. Captain America calls out, "Are you kidding?" and lays the smack down. Bucky joins in the fray and they beat down Eisen's men together. Defeating the last of his men and seeing Eisen has gotten away while promising to deal with Captain America later, they head back to camp intending to warn the police about the bodies in the water. At camp, they meet Sergeant Duffy, who really has a hard-on for Steve and Bucky. Seriously, like every single issue, this guy just goes freaking crazy on them, just screaming at them for the stupidest shit. Sarge ends up putting them on dishwashing duty. Later that night, they read the evening news that says 99 bodies were recovered from the quarry, but there's no clue to their identity. 99 bodies. 99 bodies were just hanging out in that quarry, and nobody noticed until now. A quarry, I will remind you, that people visit often and know of, and even sometimes go to commit suicide. And they just found it now. If you'll excuse me, I need something stronger. You want to know what also? Apparently it's a fucking magical quarry, because I'm still stuck on those bodies. How did those bodies just lay peacefully on the bottom of that freaking water? No way. No way. This is another fucking just haunted story. All the fucking Scooby-Doo gang. Steve and Bucky decide this is a case for Captain America. The light of the moon picks up two colorful figures as they speed to track down a mystery. Out of our way, landscape! Yeah, trees, out of my way! I'm running here! One bear's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough this issue. They head to the morgue, where they overhear that none of the 99 men were murdered. There is no water in their lungs. In other words, none of them have died by drowning. I just want to point out that even though they didn't die from drowning, that doesn't mean they weren't murdered. That's all I wanted to point out. I'm sorry for interrupting. We'll move along now. Captain America wonders why anyone would hide a corpse that hadn't been murdered. I can actually think of a few reasons, but I don't want to give the NSA any more reasons to track my conversation, so I'll pretend like I don't know why. I have no idea, Steve. Why would someone want to hide a body that wasn't murdered? You know why. Captain America continues, and why didn't anyone claim the bodies? Whose bodies were they? No one missed them? Why? 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 Bucky also wonders if they all died of natural deaths, why was Eisen hiding them? Captain America doesn't know, but they only have one hope of finding out. Find Eisen. But where wouldn't a body be missed? Aha! Captain has an idea. Cap charges forward and Bucky yells after, "Hey, wait for baby!" Sometimes the original Captain America comics make me a little uncomfortable. I don't always know why, but sometimes they say some things that maybe would be taken the wrong way in our generation, such as when Bucky is on a table and he looks at two evil people and he goes, "You can both have me, boys," and he spreads his arms and legs open wide. I don't want to be a pervert, but I feel like sometimes maybe they do it on purpose, or the 40s were just a very innocent time. Meanwhile, not far from Cap and Bucky, a tragic scene is taking place. A woman's husband is dying, but the doctor says he can give her husband one last chance, but he needs 10 minutes alone with him. The wife and son agree. Outside, the boy is crying when Captain America and Bucky come upon him. Asking what is wrong, the boy tells him his dad's dying and asks if Cap can help him. Captain America agrees to take a look, but not through the door, but by scaling up the building and peering through the window. When they look in the window, they see not a dying man, but a healthy father saying he feels fine. Captain and Bucky find the scene odd. Captain thinks the doctor looks familiar. To add to the baffling mystery, a hearse calls for a dead man who didn't die. Quickly, they leap onto the roof of the speeding hearse. And nobody notices. Now, I don't know if you've ever jumped on a vehicle. I have. Many times, especially in my youth when I was a little more adventuresome. And it doesn't matter if you're under 100 pounds, and I'm more than sure Steve is over 100 pounds, you hear a thump. Nobody heard a thump. Nobody heard two bodies hit the top of a hearse. The car comes to a halt in front of a lone building on the outskirts of town, and the body is taken inside. Seconds later, the doctor arrives and takes off his disguise to reveal he's Eisen. That's actually a damn good mask. I give props to him. I thought he was fucking stupid for putting bodies in the bottom of a popular quarry, but that mask, if he could wear it and fool people into thinking he was someone else, like, fucking top notch, dude. A+. In a secret underground room of Eisen's House of Death, we see the bodies of other people he's taken here. His servant responds, "This is the new victim, and he was so tough, he wasn't dying fast enough, so I used a pillow to suffocate him." So, everyone died of a natural death, eh, mortician? Eisen removes some identifying marks, and I don't want to think about what identifying marks those are. They reveal that Eisen shall have all his men well placed, the FBI will never uncover his secret, and by the meeting tonight, it will all be too late. His aide pushes another body towards the doctor, but instead, Captain America pops out. Surprise! From another table, so does Bucky. Captain America leaps forward, punches the man, saying, "Here's a quicker way to remove identification marks." A fight breaks out and Captain and Bucky end up taking care of Eisen's henchmen. They finally see Eisen by the light switch, but Eisen says they haven't got him yet and he turns off the lights. In the darkness, Eisen fires while yelling, "Ha-ha! One of these should find its mark." Eisen hears the yells of men being shot and thinks with them taken care of, he's left to go through with his plans. However, when the lights are turned back on, we see that Dr. Eisen has shot his own men. Captain America? Tisk tisk. Dr. Eisen shot his own men. Isn't that too bad? And Bucky responds, "Yeah, ain't that a shame?" Let's gloat over these dead bodies a few more minutes, maybe put them in embarrassing poses. Hey Steve, do you got a marker? Finishing laughing at the slaughtered men, they head to the quarry to end Eisen's game. There they find there are at least 100 men. 100 Nazis posing as Americans. Listening to the meeting, they discover that at midnight, they will deal the crushing blow. Captain America and Bucky realize they can't take a mob alone and that they'll have to wait and watch. But Cap's foot accidentally dislodges a stone and starts a small avalanche, alerting Eisen and his men that they are being spied on. Again, Captain and Bucky face off against the Nazis, which none have guns. Outnumbered, they overwhelm the duo and tie Bucky and Captain America up. Then they plan to throw them in a stone crusher. Putting the two in the stone crusher, Eisen yells to start the machine. Not staying to make sure they die, of course, Eisen sends his men to their posts. In the stone crusher, Cap comes up with an idea. "Rock! Bucky, you did it! See that rock near your foot? If we throw that in the machine, we'll stop the works." But Bucky, logically, responds, "What good is that? This is a stone crusher. It'll just bust the rock into little pieces." "Not if we drop it into the exposed gear." If this works, this will seriously be the worst rock crushing machine invented ever. Seriously, you have an open gear where the rocks actually come into the machine? How has this not happened more? How is the machine not broken down by now? And it breaks. Freeing themselves from the horribly designed machine, they race to stop Eisen. In the city, they discover every light is on. They head to the power plant to stop Eisen. Approaching a Nazi guard at the power plant, Cap responds, "Hail Hitler," and the guard asks for the salute. The Cap agrees and punches him, calling him a ratsy. This is actually one of his all-time favorite things to call Nazis, is ratsies. That and telling them that they got his dander up. Cap and Bucky get inside where Eisen's men rush him again. Why did none of them have guns? This would be over so quickly. Cap and Bucky defeat the men, and finally Captain America turns on Eisen and punches him into the switch, and short-circuits the entire power plant, which throws the city into darkness. The two heroes are about to leave when the FBI arrives and tells them they saved the city. Their planes intercepted the raiders. Captain America tells them to look over Dr. Eisen's list of patients for the past year to find the Nazi agents. As the two walk away, Bucky says he still doesn't understand Eisen's plan. Cap clarifies, "Well, Bucky, all of his patients that died, he replaced with his own agents, thereby assuring them good American citizenship. But he had to dispose of the bodies, and use the quarry. That's where we came in, and Eisen went out." Questions. Did nobody notice their loved ones being swapped out? Like, did they get masks and match their faces to their loved ones? And for that, did they not notice their behaviors were different? They maybe didn't have the personality quirks, or they didn't know certain things, or they didn't respond to their loved ones the same way. And even then, okay, they go to work. They don't know how to do their jobs exactly. They're not trained. They don't know their coworkers. They don't know how to respond to them. Like, no one was suspicious about this. How long was Eisen running this scheme? How could he find enough young patients that matched his qualifications? 100 seems like a big number for this doctor to be going around and switching the bodies. And there's nothing in the papers like, miracle doctor keeps bringing these people back from the dead, but for some reason, their faces and personality are completely different. Like, something's missing from this story. So that was another comic book story time, and I feel like we all learned a lot. And even though the past is dark and sometimes hurtful, I think we can all agree that in the 1940s, Americans made really shitty rock-crushing machines. Come back every week for new comic videos, Game of Thrones history, Walking Dead reviews, and Star Wars videos. And occasionally, alcohol poisoning.
And how do Germans tie their shoes with little Nazis just aren't funny jokes anymore.